My name is Ken Porter, a graduate student here at Illinois State University and a citizen deeply concerned about education justice. African American males are the worst performing group in our education system on the collegiate level, and this performance has been widely attributed to poor academic preparation, lack of available mentors, and a lack of belonging in college. But what about students who have had all of the above? We take a look at the lives and testimonials of two African American male students, along with the testimonials of many others, to take an inside look at whether African American male identity can have an effect on academic performance on the collegiate level.
Bigger than just an education question, but community safety, it does include what type of education systems do we have in place in our neighborhood. And Alderman Burns, we do need a commitment from you in regards to what we don't want any more contract schools in this neighborhood. There are no contract schools in Lincoln Park. There are no contract schools in Edgewater. Why for black children is the answer always privatization? And we see what it produces. It produces young people that are not prepared to compete in this world. I mean, I'm just, my shoulders get tired, Alderman Bones. I get skipped over so much, I figure when I get up, I should make sure I get my money's worth.
I was born and raised from the south side of Chicago. I went to Lindblom Math and Science Academy. It is located 61st in Walcott, which is like the Inglewood area. And I took public transportation to school every day. So I would have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, be out of the house by 6 o'clock, get on the bus by 6:10, 6:15. Take the bus to 95th, and then get on the train, take the train to 63rd, get on the 63rd bus to get to school. So it usually took me like an hour and 15 minutes to get to school every day.
High school was it was okay. Again, it was predominantly white. It was a better school though, so that was good. A lot of college preparedness there. But at the same time, it was kind of the same as middle school, which is having kind of the same kind of people around you. It isn't really a diverse crowd. Wasn't a lot of black kids, but there was more black kids, so that was cool. I'm part of the ISU Leads program here on campus. Basically what that is, just an initiative to help student leaders articulate their experiences better. My less interesting job of being a student representative. I'm the Secretary of Governmental Relations. What we do is we advocate for the students. We're a student body. We're an official branch of the university.
I used to wear, like when I would get a new hat, I'll wear it for a decent amount of time. And if it's like a hat that can go with anything, like this one, I'll wear it a lot. Like I wear this one probably like 4 or 5 times out the week. I'm a open person when it comes to hats. As you can see, I got strap backs, snapbacks, the little fitted hats with the strap, scullies, bucket hats. I think my favorite type of hat is bucket hats because it's like more of like a low profile because you can cover up your face with it and stuff.
In ISU, one thing I really do like ISU is that shared governance. We take that very seriously. So, you know, when SGA is sitting in on the academic senate, when we speak, they do listen.
We had a Christmas gift exchange, and what had happened was we had all get gifts for everybody, and someone decided that since I always decided to sit here at all times, they made this seat reserved for me, for Senator Thornton, and put my face on. I don't know how he did that part.
Take pictures. I write poetry, rap sometimes. I like to freelance. I like to walk around, just explore stuff. I like learning new things. I love to learn at least 1 or 2 new things a day.
I come from the slums of Chicago. I ain't have much, but I ain't never starved though. And I was trapping or rapping, straight cash flow, and still went to school and fell asleep in all my classes, ho. Teachers got mad and tried to put on a show, and I wake up mad, like what the fuck did you tap me for? I got suspensions, detentions, over nasty hoes who really wasn't down for me from the get-go.
I went to Whistler Elementary School on the south side of Chicago. Elementary school was quite different. We didn't have a lunchroom. Sometimes kids didn't even get lunches. They would have to like bring their own lunch.
No one in the district, no one on the school board has had the courage to say, you know what, we have an Agassiz where children learn Mandarin, Chinese, Arabic, and Spanish, where it's a neighborhood school in Lincoln Park, effective and well-stocked computer labs and libraries, where these parents that happen to be white can walk right down the street to an excellent school. But they haven't had the courage to say, but we have a Mollison, or we have a Doolittle, where we don't have a functional library, where there are no teacher aides, or one teacher aide in the entire building, where children don't even have access to world language. Where in the case of Mollison, in 2013, there were 52 kindergartners in one class, right? No one has had the courage or the moral fabric to say this is what's wrong with public education.
I think I did a good job in elementary school. I ended up being the valedictorian of my class. So that was when you had that mother in your ear all the time telling you, do your homework, do your book assignments, do your book reports.
For the most part, it was good education. I learned a lot. I was prepared. When I got to college, I felt like I was ready for it. So I was given the tools to succeed, so I had no excuse not to.
Garfield, I don't think we had as much. We changed principals like every 2 to 3 years maybe. So like in my high school, like in all of my schooling experience, I've never had a principal more than 3 years.
Like we had to share textbooks. Textbooks were like torn down and torn up and everything like that, writing all over it. I'm going to the girls' bathroom and like 3 out of the 5 stalls in there didn't even have doors. You mean to tell me like my friend got to cover me while I use the bathroom? Like what's up with that? Like it was crazy.
Now we moved to this per pupil funding system that just slashes the budgets in black and brown communities. But that system guarantees that the schools will not get the resources they need to effectively administer education to young people. So what happens? They lose positions. They have more students, right? So now they don't get the individualized instruction as a group, so the quality of education diminishes, right? Now the discipline in the classroom is an issue because you have too many young people. The teachers don't have teacher aides, so there is no additional adult support in the classroom. That's how it plays out. And so then schools that are put in these conditions, the district is not honest enough to talk about these conditions, but they'll be judged based on those conditions that children in other communities never even have to sniff.
Preparation wasn't really there how it should have been. I don't want to say the school system failed them, but they're not bred to succeed. They're not expected to succeed. So
So usually you gotta try to like even it out. Some people say to find the like little crafts.
Collars and Cufflinks is an event that we had and we've had for the past 3 years now. It's a GQ tutorial on how to dress for success, and it's very strategic because we're priming them to think about life after college. What do I need to look like to be successful? Because sometimes that's the first thing people see. They see you, what you have on, what you look like. And you don't want people to get the wrong impression of you or to have connotations about you off the way that you look.
Currently, I have a series of work that are portraits that I strip it of the narrative. African American male figure, close to being life-size, staring back at the viewer, not having a lot of things in that work to kind of give you visual clues about who this individual is. They really have to reflect on how they've been socialized to view African American males. My artwork really targets people who haven't had a lot of exposure or experience with this male group, and looking at our culture today. It's really forcing people to rethink how they view African American males.
We all have struggles with dealing with things here and home. We all have struggles with identity and masculinity and stuff like that. And we're the minority twice over. We're ethnic minority, and then we're men in college. Our female counterparts outnumber us 4 to 1. So there was a need for this group to come together.
My current GPA here is a 2.4. I was very overwhelmed by the amount of freedom that I got coming in as a freshman. So it's like I kind of took advantage of the freedom and made academics like the second most important thing. So it was like I was seeing all of the freedom and all of the opportunities to do whatever I wanted, and it was like, hey, let me do this, hey, let me do that. And then when it came to schoolwork, and I was like, yeah, I should have did this before actually going out to that party or going out to this open mic event. Now it's like I'm playing catch up, and it's not easy, but I'm trying to make the best of my options. Like, I currently have all A's in all of my classes, and so I'm trying to improve my GPA because I want an actual job when I graduate, and you don't really get hired with a low GPA.
Semester, I'm doing okay. Not as well as I would like. You know, I got one class in particular that's really getting on my nerves, but I'm not gonna front. I'm still well on my way to graduating with a myriad of accolades, so I'm doing okay. I'm just kind of bitching at this point.
All they want to see is another black man down. And don't let us speak with rhetoric, because they will equate it with trying to be a race that is not our own, because in this society, African Americans with proper dialect do not exist. Why must our vernacular be associated with our skin color? Is it wrong for us to use proper words, but it's the norm when we curse ready to kill a because we are portrayed as angry, when in reality we are tired. Tired of the labels, tired of the stigmas, tired of hearing Black Lives Matter over and over again and no one listening, tired of hands up, don't shoot, tired of, tired.
This is our plan. This is pretty much how we, get in the library. We try to hold each other accountable as what day that thing we're in the library. Not saying that we're gonna be up in there checking on you,
We might though.
My Brother's Keeper is a all African American male student organization that was founded about 5, maybe 6 years ago in a space where black men come together. You don't have those competing distractions that can interfere with our need to have conversations about what does it mean to be a black male on a predominantly white campus.
Did anybody have any trouble studying? If you do have trouble studying, did you seek out partners, classmates, teachers?
I had midterm papers I had to do, so it was 2 different 6-page papers I had to write in a week, and I was just stressed to hell, and I had to work too, and I just put my head down and grinded, man. That's how I got that done. Otherwise, I would have been pulling my hair out, going crazy. I'm gonna be real honest with you, Ken. I kind of slid into that one, man. It wasn't really something I intended for it to happen, but at the same time, I saw there was a kind of a need for some kind of leadership there, just given that, Dorian was leaving, Nate was leaving, a lot of the guys were leaving, so someone had to step up and take care of it, because, it became something we need here on campus. It can't be something that falls off, so it's kind of a reluctant leadership job, but I like it, though. I enjoy myself doing it.
Serious topic. We just want to know, have y'all experienced any racial issues on campus?
Two drunk dudes, they come past or whatever. They was like, "What's up, my nigga?" So you feel me? I ain't think nothing. I'm thinking whatever. You feel me? They ain't talking about nothing. They say, "You got a problem with it? Come do something about it, nigga." So you feel me? I look, and like it was 2 of them, and one of them get to running. He instantly take off. I ain't got time. He take off. He go around the corner, but they end up going to like it's a house over there on Veterans or whatever. Not Veterans, but Vernon. They went to a house on Vernon, but we ain't really make no big deal out of it. But it was highly disrespectful. And then we had an issue with townies trying to get in our house. It was like 100 townies outside, and the police had just left. We called them back, like, you feel me? We got an issue going on outside, and they never show up.
Never showed up.
They never showed up.
Big brawl out there.
Almost got our door kicked in. But no showing up for them. After they had just basically came and harassed us, saying that they heard there was a fight going on, no fights, anything like that. So it's a little sick out here, man.
You need somewhere for these young black males to go, and I don't even say young black males, but young minority males, because Latinos and kind of go into the same groove. You need somewhere for us to kind of get together, because if we're not watching each other, no one's watching out for us. The deans can do their best, but they can't get everybody. And it's got to be on the ground. It's got to be as students, because we know what we go through.
we know those struggles. We can help each other out. Like, say I took a class, and someone else didn't take a class, I can tell them like, hey, this is where you need to go. These are if you're gonna miss days, you can miss these days, but you need to be there on these days. Make sure you study this, study that. So it's a support system. So
I'm a first generation college student, as well as a first generation Greek in my family. So I was just out here by myself for the first time, and the Alphas was some of the first people I met. They kind of took me under their wing. They was just like coaching me through, telling me like what not to do and what to do as a freshman, because I didn't know no better. So they just like they guided me through everything my freshman year.
Encouraged me to do things even when I felt uncomfortable to do them. Because I think you need somebody to tell you, do it. Just do it. And I thanked them for that. And I thanked them for just pushing me and I guess just believing in me that I could do this stuff, believing in me when I couldn't see it. And I think that little bit of encouragement is just enough to help students. Mm-hmm.
My freshman sophomore year was pretty much me just being Mr. Popularity. Like, that didn't get me anywhere, honestly. So I wanted to change it up a little bit and do something completely different, something that no one would have honestly thought of me to do. LIFE is an acronym for leading incoming freshmen effectively, and we will match them according to their hobbies, interests, and majors. So you always be matched with somebody that was of your similar character.
SCI program, which is a mentoring program for first-year students, and we match them with mentors who help guide them along the way, just to make sure that they're following a good path at ISU to stay ahead in their academics, making sure that they're staying ahead in the social world, just making sure that they're just doing what they need to do to succeed, to return. It's one thing to get to college, it's another thing to stay here. We want to ensure that those students stay here.
It's kind of harder now to deal with, simply being that since the E-board and I, we are older, so it's kind of harder to like reach out to the freshmen. And it's harder to reach out to this freshman class, reason being is because it seems like they don't want to be helped.
Like a group of like 5 or 7 of us, it's like 20 of us here. 5 and 7 of us just like stood up there and screamed at them for like 5 minutes, and then when we sit down, they'll be like caught off guard. So I think activism, guerrilla warfare always works, at least to get attention. At the very least, you're going to get attention.
We would love for it to be bigger, but we just don't have the funding to expand it. But we're hoping that will change, because I know there's some strong advocates on campus that really want to see it expand. But yeah, we're looking at about 50 folks that we serve.
Coming from the black community, it's something about rejecting help. This notion of I need assistance, but that's a weakness, and so I'd rather just struggle. You have to have students that are willing to be mentored.
When you call yourself a mentor, you have to be someone who knows more than your mentee. I feel like that by definition, that's what a mentor is, and I'm somebody who I know for a fact I don't have it all figured out. I know that, and I can't impart knowledge I don't have, So maybe it's me reading the situation wrong, but I don't want to call myself a mentor if I can't live up to that standard.
What's up, open mic?
What's up?
Y'all mind if I don't use the mic? So in murky waters, I saw my reflection and then I dived in. And as a child, I was taught that money is the root of all evil. Then why it feels so good? So whether it be sweater or jacket weather, you better stay in that hood, protect your neck and watch your back. Cause some things that give you cannot get back. Rainy days calm me down, but sunny days make me anxious. Patience is the key to the door. Once unlocked, you may achieve greatness. Once I found out I was a poet, they shunned me, and they made fun of me. And it's funny how 500 followers and 2,000 Facebook friends can still feel like none of me. Shit, my creator made me a creator. I think that's as close as I can get. Don't let the spoken word shit fool you, boy. Can still spit, but once they found out I was a poet, shit ain't been the same since. Take this, hate this. Society's these rulers no longer made sense, so I made sense into dollars and turned that dollars into college, because they told me that college would add to my knowledge, but I think I've been more confused since I got this. But that's off the topic. Shit! I found out I was a poet. Trash. I'm not even an ISU student no more. I go to Lincoln College. But being black at ISU was just tough. I go from a city of millions and feeling like I'm the only me, you know what I'm saying? I'm the only kid that's finna do this, you know what I'm saying? City of millions, and I just fit right in. to almost town of 20,000, and I feel like a yuppie in a pond or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like so small. I felt so small when I got to college.
Situations where you got group projects, and it seems like sometimes you're the last one to get picked, or you might not get picked at all to be in small groups. If anybody had those kind of situations?
If it's only 3 of us in a classroom full of white people or full of many different people, like us 3 know that we working together. Somehow we know that we gonna end up working together, no matter who choose us or who we get chose by. Like if I see John on the other side of the classroom, and be like, John, we know we gonna team up and do that. But
when I got to ISU, I was shocked but not shocked at turning out from going to be a lot of black people in the class to the only person of color in your class.
You would be in a group, and I'll be the only black person, and like they'll look for me to like do the easiest work, or like they'll try and give me like the stuff that's not hard because they think I'm not capable of doing it, or like they'll just try to provide me the easy assignments. But in reality, like it's been a couple times where I go out my way on my own, you feel me, and do their part of the project, and then it end up working out for me a couple times. Well, actually, they was the ones who was coming in not prepared and things like that.
I feel like black students stick together, especially on the PWI, because there's not really that many of us here.
Most of our African American and black students come from CPS, so those students want to stay around what they know. Other kids from CPS, coming to a new environment, they want to stay around the people they grew up with and they know. It looks familiar to them. White students come from different places, but it's generally the same atmosphere. They want to stay around what they know. People what they're comfortable with, they stay with. So it's natural. It's very natural, but it just seems as though it's a little too divisive.
I think I'm able to relate more and have a more enjoyable time at a black party than a white party, just because of my culture. Not saying that there's anything wrong with the Caucasian culture at all, but the way they party and the way African Americans party is kind of different, and I'm more comfortable with the way African Americans party.
I went to open mic my freshman year, and I was like, man, this is dope. Like, we have the black community coming together, performing, encouraging each other. This is something that I want to be a part of. 3 years later, I'm vice president.
Open mic is home. I remember the very first open mic type of thing I went to. Ever since then, it's been like a home for me. I've met some lifelong friends at open mics. I've met some of the greatest artists. I've gained connections. It's very simple to people that really don't get into the art of it. But open mic is home, man. Without expression, I would probably be like somewhere in a mental capacity home or something. I would definitely be crazy if I wasn't taught to express myself and then express myself in front of people. And I think that open mic definitely helped out with that. Broke me out of my shell as far as like meeting people, getting friends and stuff like that. Like, open mic is home.
It's kind of like a social for us people, for all of us to come together and see each other and see what's going on and just catch up. And it's like kind of a stress reliever. Some people I know really look forward to open mic on Thursdays, because after we've had a long week, okay, this is how we can enjoy ourselves and wind down until the weekend.
Open mic is my legacy that people probably don't know about, and I don't go back to, because sometimes I'm like, that's a new space.
I can't even think off the top of my head like what I can say that blacks frequent often. It's like parties and open mic. If not open mics might be tied with parties. You know what I'm saying? And it's a bad thing in the sense that it no longer becomes open mic. It becomes black people link up.
And people aren't coming to open mic to see what's happening. They're just coming to be seen. And that's the difference. If you come to be seen, then you're not going to get the experience. It's just like going to church to dress nice and then walking out of church because you just want everybody to see you.
Yeah, I definitely think that open mic is one of the few occasions that happen and that ISU allows to happen regularly, where people of color and blacks can like really congregate and be safe.
And that's sad, isn't it? You have the highest population of African American students here, and open mic is all you got.
We have this thing here at the institution where we want everybody to feel like a red bird. Everybody wants to have this red bird experience, but it's very rare that you can take a student of color, particularly a black student, and have a conversation with them where they would describe their time here at ISU as a red bird experience. So when you compare what a black student says about their experience at ISU versus what a white student says about their experience at ISU, it'll sound like two different conversations.
There are the Redbirds, which is the white students, and there are the black Redbirds, the black students. I like the fact that there's, I guess, different cultures on campus and different atmospheres, but I don't want it to be so exclusive, if you know what I mean. That's one thing I like to change on campus, cultural immersion.
When Black Student Union was here, when I was here, they had their own budget in the Office of Multicultural Affairs. They had at least 10 stacks to work with as an operating budget for the entire fiscal year. Now they're all fighting for the same pool of money and diversity advocacy. If that organization isn't strong, what does that mean for the rest of the organizations?
They don't have formal spaces. I mean, we say we have the diversity advocacy unit that provides space for some of our ethnic minority student groups like Black Student Union, but formal space, such as what they have on some of our other university campuses, when they have their cultural centers or their black cultural centers. No, we don't have that. And I think in the absence of that, students tend to create their own gathering spaces.
So it's almost similar to the projects. It's a difference between when you have your own house and when you're living in the projects. Because when you're in projects, you're on top of everybody's business, and then you all are all competing for the same resources. But when you're in your house, you can go to your house and you go to different rooms, you can go to different bathrooms. And I mean, I think if we had to make an analogy, that's what especially the black students are facing. They don't have spaces to create the programs that they need to create. So, that's all we got. That's so mind-blowing. I'm going back to just the most African American students that you can have since ISU's been open, but there's no space for it.
I just think that when I came to college, I expected it to be a lot of me. Like, a lot of people, a lot of black kids that, I'm a first-generation college student. Like, my parents ain't go. Like, a lot of first-generation college students just got here, don't know nothing about Greek, just want to meet smart people and talk about smart things and do the shit you see on movies, like go to the coffee shop for no reason, like trying to get at this girl, acting like you're doing your homework, staring at her the whole time. But college was like, you ready to go to the Diner Center? Like, every 2 hours, just like, you know what I'm saying? It was boring, it was irritating, I didn't know anyone. It was just trash, and then that affected my academics. I'm sitting in the class I'm the only black kid. I'm the only black kid in my class, and we get to talking about this or talking about that, and all of a sudden the whole room's looking at me for my opinion because I'm black. And it's like, you try to like just gauge past stuff like that. You try to just move past it or whatever. You try to just, keep it moving like you've always been taught to, but it gets so much harder in college because there's nothing else to do. Like, you're here for school, so if I feel uncomfortable in class while I'm in school, like, my grades definitely reflected that. Definitely. It's definitely a tougher experience being black at a PWI and trying to navigate. Especially when you come from a city, a train take you anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, train, skateboard got me around the city for 2 years. And now I'm here and it's like, it's just boring, it's empty. I can see the stars at night. It's awkward. Like, it's just, it was a big jump. It was different. It was definitely reflected in my grades.
After following Marcus and John over the course of an entire semester, we asked them to reflect on their experience and their academic journey.
I think I finished off with like 2 B's out of all my classes. So what was that? Was that like a 3.5? I got 3.5 last year. It's 2 A's. Yeah. So I had like a 3.5. It was decent.
I had 3 B's and 1 A. Sophomore year GPA was like a 2.
So, what's the difference between then and now? You're clearly doing way better.
I feel like I'm just growing and realizing like the actual reasons of being in school. Not just it's like I'm getting my priorities straight. put it that way. It's like after hearing mom say it so much, usually when you're young it goes through one ear and out the other. Now it's just sticking because it's like I'm starting to actually see adulthood and have to become a man and all of that extra stuff that you have to do to make it in society.
With the lot of stuff I'm trying to do and planning to do this semester and how much free time I'm planning to have, I'm doing a lot of things preemptively. And if I keep doing that, I'm going to get a 4.0. If I slack and get lazy, that's a good question. Put it in God's hands at that point.
My priorities was to go at every event, see what was going on campus, all the fun extracurricular activities, and then schoolwork. So it's like, do what you have to do what you want to do. Everything has been good since.
People who know me know that, Marcus doesn't really come out much because he's grinding. He's doing his thing. He's trying to do X, Y, and Z. And like, man, why we never see you, man? We never see you anywhere. You never come to, man, because I be in here doing, So people who don't know me, that's why they don't see me. People who know me know, if you need me, you know where I'm at. So, yeah, it does affect you a little bit, but it is what it is.
Some people tell me like I've been MIA or like missing in action and stuff, and I always let them know like, even though I don't go to events or like don't text you, it's not like I don't care about you or we not still cool. I'm just trying to get what's more important done first. Then I'll check up on you and be like, oh, what's up? How you been? What you doing tonight? So I mean, I haven't changed like my group of friends, but I feel like us as a group have more matured and actually grown. So with that around me helped me as well, bro. And that's always good to have like a supporting cast that's trying to have the same goals.
It was a pretty good semester. I wish I did a little more as far as going to other people's events and stuff. I know I was working a lot, so I didn't have time to go and see things I actually wanted to go see and do things I wanted to go do sometimes. But other than that, other than getting out a little bit more, it was a pretty ideal semester. I mean, of course you want a 4.0, but hey, that's every semester, so.
Throughout the semester and the shared testimonials, identity was a reoccurring theme. The time needed to fulfill Black male identity needs was in direct conflict with the time needed to fulfill academic identity needs. James Baldwin once said, "Identity would seem to be the garment with which one covers the nakedness of the self, in which case it is best that the garment be loose, a little like the robes of the desert, through which one's nakedness can always be felt and sometimes discerned. This trust in one's nakedness is all that gives us the power to change one's robes." Although African American men are the worst performing group on the collegiate level, those who learn to loosen their robes find success.